Hey YouTube, Lawler here. As always, we've got some new RLCS roster updates for you guys, and as always, if you want to stay up to date, easiest way to do so, check out the description down below where we've got our roster document. And while you're down there, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you guys hit like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Helps me out immensely. In the roster document as well, up at the top, all my socials, give those a follow. It's easy if you guys go to the Discord to stay up to date, because that's when videos get posted as well. But we've updated this after being gone for the weekend. We were in San Diego for a wedding, got a little bit of color and a little bit of burn, but we go next. That being said, we're going to start. We've got 4 major ones to talk to you guys about today. The first one is actually going to start in OCE. If you guys did not see the news, Gus and Super Lucky, if you guys are not familiar, former Chiefs, used to be Gus and Hunter. This is the team that Raziers was with, and then we also saw, you know, the brief stint for EWC last year where yours came in and they were able to play upset on mates twice. Team that has a ton of different talent. Fiber has been that player that when he was with KCP was the difference maker, and we've seen what his impact can be on lands. Fiber and Super Lucky together, I think, is a very dominant combination. I think it's a really, really solid chance, and Gus still is underrated. With my experience of getting to talk with yours about that, he's just like, the guys are plenty good. They're plenty mechanical. They can play the game at a high level. They just need someone to instill that confidence, and I can kind of push them in the right play style. Now that they've been exposed to it, and you're seeing what I think is a big leap up from Wildcard, hoping Wildcard stays the same, I do think it will help them kind of define and provide more than like a 2-horse race. We've seen over in OCE, for those that don't pay attention, basically 2, maybe 3 teams that continue to fight, but the conversation between Wildcard and Torsos, whatever team Torsos is on, is going to make it to the major. That's just kind of how it goes. But then you have like Ground Zero, TSM, Power, Chiefs, and a different iteration. But you've always seen kind of 1 or 2 push forward in that, and TSM tends to be it with Amphis and the guys. I do think this team could put in a proper fight. Organization-wise, whether they'll find someone or not is a totally different story. But a team that should definitely be fearful. Like, this is a quarterfinal, semifinal team most of the time, if I had to guess. It's just getting that one upset win, depending on if they're playing the high seed or the low seed. So, really exciting team. I'm actually really excited to see just how they perform in general, just because of the different iterations and stuff. While I both have high heights on Gus and Hunter, I think them splitting and bringing in some more presence and some more like major-esque type players is really going to help Gus. So keep an eye on Gus, in my opinion, on this next upcoming season. But a lot of excitement for the OCE roster. Over into North America, though, we've got 3 more that we've got to talk about. A couple rumors and then 1 that is confirmed. The first one with the boys, if you guys do not know, this is the what could have been roster that has had many a different iteration between Percy and everybody else. But Evo and Aqua had a pretty good upset against Complexity in the LCQs at the tail end of this season before they were eventually eliminated by Shopify. But the boys, Evo and Aqua, expected a team with 5 up. There's been a lot of conversation about this roster and just what is the desire to go and play. And something that I've reiterated in every single roster video, because I think people don't realize the importance of it. The very first open event, when playing in the big open of the RLCS, people are still trying to find their form. They're still trying to figure out how things are going to go. You're not exactly sure what it's going to look like back on the competitive stage. And the reason why the first one is so important is if you can peak, which we know this team is fully capable of peaking with Evo and Aqua, you have the ability to, if you make top 6, which again, if you make it through the bracket double elimination, if you make it through Swiss, as long as you win your 2 series that are going to be on that Friday of the main event, you win, you go 2-0, you're into the first kickoff tournament. You're at the LAN in Copenhagen. Which, for a lot of teams, making the LAN usually means organization backing, because it is the big events. It's what people want to go to. So the opportunity for this team makes a lot of sense, where you take 2 guys that we know can just, on the day, they can absolutely frag out and do their thing. 5-Up is part of that conversation. To me, 5-Up is one of the up-and-comers. To me, he is one of the best support players in North America in the moment. It's part of the reason why we brought him on in Carl. Like, he's really, really solid. So you've got 2 guys that get absolutely crazy. The 5-Up is a jack of all trades. You put him where you need him. This could be a team that plays that upset. What it's going to look like long-term, you just never know with Evo and Aqua. But the reality is if you are trying to start strong and give yourself an opportunity, this makes a lot of sense. So I'm not surprised by this playing out the way it has. You are starting to see teams scrim more now that we've had a little bit of a break. Most teams have been scrimming in North America for the last couple weeks. So you are starting to see some different iterations pop up. But that is where we are at. The boys potentially coming in and playing upset. Up next, we do have the former Shopify Rebellion team trying to figure out what the heck their plan is. 2Piece and Wahvey were seen in a video with Mech on his YouTube. I think we showed you that short last week. But it looks like rumors from Shift are saying that he has locked with Talk, former Carl, as well. You're going to see a lot of former Carl conversation here today. Again, we talk about different iterations, trying out different iterations in scrims. You just never know how things are going to play out, and sometimes you get a better feeling. Maybe there's a little bit more consistency. Maybe there's a little bit more confidence in the play or the rotations play. We don't know. We have no idea how these things play out. We don't know what the results have been, who they've been scrimming against to instill that confidence. But case in point, you saw even Shopify last season when Reddles and Wahvey became the conversation. 2Piece had different iterations. Eventually they tried out 2Piece and Reddles, and they're like, okay, do we try out Talk? Do we try out Evo? Do we try out Calm? Do we try out... They go with the one that feels the best, and it was Wahvey. So it is cool to see 2/3 of that roster, despite Reddles retiring, stay together. I assumed it was between Talk and Mech and then up and cover, maybe some off-ball ones as well. But they feel confident in that. And then the other part of it, too, is they are keeping their coach in memory. I was unsure after the whole RLCS debacle of like Shopify completely being gutted and being rebuilt and starting over, which does make sense. If you guys haven't seen my video on that, go check it out, where I talk about the Shopify situation, about how they need to go all in. But it is cool to see that memory is sticking with these, and then hopefully they can find something. So again, this to me is a team that is in conversation of a consistent top 8. They should be part of the conversation as a respectable team. They just have to play that one upset if they're going to get to the like semi and grand finals. So curious to see on how it builds. A lot of experience watching Talk as a player, plenty of talent, but still some concerns. Will it work out with the other two? Maybe he'll just get let loose and go and do what he wants. I don't know. I'm very interested to see on how this team ends up playing on the field. I do have some concerns though. Either way, could be a lot of fun. Rumored for now, not confirmed. We'll have to wait and see on how it plays out. Last but not least, we've got some import talent with a team that has always shown that they can be solidified when it matters most. It is Royalis, who is coming in and playing over at Fisher in Boston from a Sam import, and he is pairing with Andy and Zanil. Very unique circumstances. Obviously, Andy was on deleted all last season, and then at the tail end in LCQs, he played on the Pirates on a Boat roster with Mech and ended up making that top 6. As for Zanil's kind of always been a player that has done very, very well in scrims and has gotten some good opportunities, but never been able to push into being on the solidified like top 4 teams, which makes sense that, you know what, I'm no longer going the Lion Blaze route. I'm going to try and find something different. Andy historically has always performed well out of the gate. He's always been a very stable player to play with. So I'm not surprised that this team kind of comes together and goes, you know what? We're not getting opportunities from the big dogs. Let's just give ourselves an opportunity to be middle of the pack and play upset. To me, that's what this team is. This is a team that obviously I'm not going to take lightly. Not one I want to run into when it comes into a like Swiss early round or Swiss tail round. If I'm in the 2-2 round and I see this team, I go, shoot, okay, this is going to be a fight. So I think it's a really good starting point, but I do think this is kind of like your... Not that I degrade C tier, like C's are average. I think this is a slightly above. I would give this like a C+ if I was doing like a power ranking. But I do think this team is going to be competitive. I expect this team to be fighting in either a early upper or a late lower round in the double elimination stages to try and make a top 8. I would expect to see this team fighting potentially for top 8. Synergy-wise, I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know playstyle-wise how it's going to perform, but if Andy keeps doing what he's been doing and really bringing together teams and solidifying them as like a stable conversation, it will always give you a chance, which is important. When you're talking about competition and stress and everything on the line, those are the type of players that stand out. So I'm excited to see how they play out. I really don't know what it's going to be, but it is exciting. That being said, kind of talking next steps for you guys on the YouTube channel. If you guys did not see Coupe de France this past weekend, these are the teams that are going forward for the Paris Games Week Invitational. That'll be in person in just a short amount of time. We will be breaking them down and talking first looks at the big 3, Mates, Vitality, and K-Corp in a couple days. And And on top of that, we also have to talk about the clarification that we got for the new RLCS 2/3 rule that they actually reposted on. So if you guys want to make sure you don't miss out on that stuff, as always, if you enjoy the content, like, subscribe, turn notifications, hit me up in the comments down below with anything you guys have noticed. Give me your thoughts and what your opinions are on some of these new teams, as we will have a community power ranking coming up relatively soon with rosters starting to finalize and lock in. Either way, that's going to do it for me today. Appreciate y'all, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.